collect today starts out by saying, Almighty God, you know that we have no power in ourselves to help ourselves. And so it is that we continue to travel through Lent. If we are honest with ourselves, we know that God knows that we really don't have the power to help ourselves on our own. The 40 days of Lent is the perfect time for us to check in with God, and our Bible readings help us do that. Our first reading is about Moses meeting God. Moses was shepherding Jethro's flock in Midian. His life had been unusual for an Israelite in those times because a new king had arisen in Egypt who did not know Joseph. The king saw that the Israelite slaves outnumbered the Egyptians, and he feared that the slaves would join Egypt's enemies. So the king commanded that all Hebrew babies be murdered at birth. Two Israelites married, and Moses was born. After 3 months, his mother, Jochebed, put Moses in a basket in the bulrushes to save his life. As we remember from the movie The Ten Commandments, Pharaoh's daughter took Moses in, and he was raised as an Egyptian in Pharaoh's household. One day, while Moses was watching the Hebrew slaves, he saw an Egyptian beating an Israelite slave. Looking this way and that, Moses murdered the Egyptian and buried him in the sand. When Pharaoh found out, he wanted to kill Moses. So Moses fled to Midian, where he married and kept the flocks of his father-in-law, Jethro. God met Moses in Midian in the burning bush, and God told Moses, the cry of the Israelites has now come to me. I have also seen how the Egyptians oppress them. So come, I will send you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt. But Moses said to God, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt? He said, I will be with you. My name is I am who I am. We also remember the plagues that Moses and God offered to Pharaoh, the Red Sea crossing, and Moses leading the Israelites to the land of milk and honey. It's just one of those great Bible stories that captures your imagination and gives us hope about what is possible. The story of Moses teaches us several things. First of all, you never know where God's going to find you. Sometimes we have to go to Midian and herd sheep or something equivalent to that. Or we have to go to an unknown place while escaping the place that we were living in to live a more simple life. And sometimes we have to leave our former life behind to become the person that God created us to be. God took Moses, who had never been eloquent, which is why God allowed Moses' brother Aaron to speak on Moses' behalf. God took Moses and transformed him when Moses received the tablets of the law in the form of the Ten Commandments. God took Moses, the murderer, and made him the leader of the Israelites. Now tell me, could Jochebed have known that this was the future for the baby that she put in the basket among the reeds? God gave Moses one more chance, one more opportunity, one more time to get it right. God was willing to use Moses for the work that God wanted to do, and honestly, that work was huge over the scope of history and our faith history. The Hebrew Scriptures allow us to see that God was at work in the world primarily through human beings. God became human in Jesus Christ so that you and I could be reminded of and taught the two commandments, to love only God and to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. God gives second chances. In the parable of the gardener and the fig tree, a man had a fig tree planted in his vineyard, and he came looking for fruit on it for the third year in a row and found none. So he said to the gardener, "See here, for 3 years I have come looking for fruit on this fig tree, and still I find none. Cut it down. Why should it be wasting the soil?" And the gardener replied, "Sir, let it alone for 1 more year, until I dig around it and put manure on it. If it bears fruit next year, well and good. But if not, you can cut it down." The gardener asked for 1 more year, for a second chance, to see if the fig tree would bear fruit. There are times in our lives when we wish we had done things differently. Maybe taking back something we said in haste or in anger. Maybe we forgot a birthday or an anniversary. Maybe we took the path of least resistance and denied ourselves a life-giving opportunity. God gave Moses a do-over in spite of his murder of the Egyptian. God saw in Moses the leader of the Israelites. So this morning I ask you, are you someone who could use a do-over? A second chance to mend a relationship, to let a friendship grow for 1 more year? Are there people in your life to whom you could offer a do-over? Maybe a family member or a former friend. We're in the middle of Lent right now. Easter Sunday, the day of the resurrection, is only 4 weeks away. But there's plenty of time left to remember people who used to be close to you, to give them a second chance, a godly do-over. And why should we do that? Because God became human in Jesus Christ, and Jesus went through the crucifixion and conquered death in his resurrection. And on that Easter day, Jesus rose. And we found in that resurrection, we find God's mercy and forgiveness so that we can offer mercy and forgiveness to others. So it seems to me that today is a good do-over day. I don't know if there's anybody here who needs a do-over. I know that I do.